Welcome back in, everybody, to Birds 365, the number one morning show on YouTube, as Keith Johnson says in the chat. We appreciate you guys. We're here every single weekday, Monday to Friday, 8 to 10 a.m., and we're here to recap Eagles versus Cowboys. A big win. Joined now by Jeff Kerr from CBS Sports. Make sure you guys follow Jeff at Jeff Kerr CBS. Jeff, great to see you on another Overreaction Monday. How you doing, brother?
There's some overreactions going on, Zander. I had to actually lay down the hammer to a couple higher ups.
All right, lay it down.
Uh-oh, the Jeff Kerr hammer coming in, baby.
Last night during the second quarter of the Lions-Texans game, that was the game I had to do last night. Oh, the main takeaway from this game is, can you win a championship with Jared Goff? And I'm like, I guess nobody can play bad in a 17-game season. No one can play bad. I said, by the way, I think the Lions are going to come back and win. Oh, no, they're not. He's playing terrible. I'm like, oh, the Texans aren't that great either. Yeah. Guess who came back and won last night?
Yeah, that was a great game last night, Jeff. And I didn't catch all of it. I was doing the show on JAKIB, and I got off at, maybe midway through the third quarter, and I look up, and I'm like, 5 interceptions? Holy shit. And
he didn't play well.
No, he didn't play well. But to your point, the Texans didn't capitalize on 5 picks at all. I mean, they were winning by 10 after 5 interceptions. I'm like, that's not very good.
Yeah, what kind of scares me about that? The last team that didn't give a shit about throwing interceptions was the greatest show on turf, Rams. And they don't seem to care because they know they're going to come back. That's a little bit frightening.
I thought they played their worst game.
Oh, yeah.
In the Dan Campbell era, like ever. And
well, now, I mean, they started 0-7,
Yeah, but still, like, even though those teams, though, like, and they still won. That's what's incredible about the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Jeff, we'll talk a little more about that game. I want to get your takeaway on the Eagles.
Panay Sewell for MVP. Sorry.
He is good, man. Holy shoot, that guy can move, man, for an offensive line.
How many votes you think you'll get for Panay Sewell for MVP?
Zero.
No, zero. Jeff, what do you think?
I want to see. I want to see an offensive lineman get some love. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
You're good. You're good. I don't think it's going to happen, but
no, it's
player.
Not.
Jeff, 34-6 though. Birds absolutely destroy the Dallas Cowboys. The Cooper Rush led Dallas Cowboys. Your overall takeaways from what the Eagles were able to do yesterday in Arlington?
Good team beats bad team. That's my takeaway from it. The Eagles are a good team. The Cowboys are a bad team. They are. I'm not going to say – I'll say they're a shit show. Let's just put it that way. I was going to add another word into that, but I think you guys get the hint there. When you got your star defensive player pretty much calling out his head coach, you got your star wide receiver, by the way, you paid a lot of money to, ask him to put curtains because he dropped the touchdown pass because of the sun, and Jerry flips out like he does. That honestly was more enjoyable to me than the actual football game.
Yeah, Jerry was my favorite part.
I mean, the football game itself was terrible.
Oh, did CD? I didn't know who asked about the curtains. Was that CD?
It was CD because they asked him about the dropped touchdown pass, and CD just basically went off and said, "Look, I'm begging him, like, put them up," and he won't do it.
CeeDee Lamb gets paid what, $36 million from Jerry, and he's calling for a little bit more. I need some curtains, Jerry.
This is how I took it. Only Jerry Jones finds a way to hurt his football team.
Yeah, and he'll sound off on him too.
Classiest place ever. The reports of the spread, again, the best in the business. I will defend that place is awesome. I don't care about curtains.
Yeah, I've been there. It's an unbelievable stadium, no doubt. I actually watched Jalen Hurts' first ever college game in that stadium. They took on USC. That was my first college game I attended. We drove to Dallas from Alabama. And Jalen wasn't supposed to play that game. And he played, and he beat the USC Trojans 52-6 in his first game as a freshman. Great memory.
Wasn't Nick Saban like flip-flopping on who his quarterback was or what it announced? And then all of a sudden
Blake Barnett. It was supposed to be Blake Barnett. And at that time,
Barnett.
He had never played a freshman quarterback, so nobody expected Jalen to play. And boom, they trotted him out there, and he had a good game, man. That's a great memory though of AT&T Stadium I have. So it is a nice place though, John. To your point,
I saw Penn State destroy Memphis in the Cotton Bowl at Jerry World, so that was fun.
There you
Oh,
go. That's a good
that
memory
was
for
a
you.
storied Cotton Bowl.
It
Penn
was probably
State, no-
it was a game where you just wanted to go and see Jerry World. That was about it. And like these Memphis fans were trying to talk trash. I'm like, okay. Kenny Gainwell was on that Memphis team, by the way.
Yeah, Kenny was a good college player. But yeah, Memphis does not belong with Penn State. But I'm not going to criticize your beloved institution.
It'd be another B-level school on Saturday, John.
That's true. That's true. Up and down. What, Washington, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they made a quarterback change, and let's just put
they
it this way.
destroyed them. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny. Florida State, that's unbelievable, that collapse to go from 13-0 to I think they're 1-9
1
or
and 9.
1-10.
What was the final? I know Notre Dame
It was
put up
like
50 on them.
56-3 or something.
Jesus.
What is going on? How do you go from 13-0? A lot of people saying they should be the national champions before the injury and whatever, to 1-9? How is that even possible?
I guess the transfer portal really took an effect on them, but a lot of those guys are back.
Yeah. And they seem talented. I was watching a little bit of that game. I was watching a little bit of Georgia Ole Miss. And I'm going to bring this into the Eagles people. But, I mean, what are we going to talk about with the Eagles? But there were two instances that I took from the game. In Georgia Ole Miss, they had the ball at like the 6-yard line. They thought they were going to be in man, but they backed out in the zone. They dumped it off to the back. It was a man beater. And I was thinking Tom Brady. This is exactly what he's talking about. Quarterback, young quarterback, college quarterback, has no idea what's going on, plays over before it even begins because he doesn't recognize the defense there's in. So that's very important. And then with Notre Dame, Florida State, Notre Dame's quarterback, who's a good runner, but he's not that great of a passer. He's got it wide open, wide open, doesn't take the read as it's progressed, looking for other stuff. And his coach is yelling at him on the sidelines. He's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Take it. It's there. And I bring it to Jalen Hurts. The one nitpick, Jeff Kerr. And I just went to a next gen stats. Time to throw in the National Football League. Jalen Hurts is now dead last.
He takes a long time to throw, to process information. Let's just put it that way.
Are you concerned at all? Not against bad teams like Dallas, but against good teams down the road.
I'm concerned, but I also, at the same time, it's hard for me to criticize a guy who's third in the league in completion percentage, fifth in the league in passer rating. If you look at the raw passing stats numbers, and I'm even going to go with the air yards too, he's a top 5 quarterback this year at passing, if you're going by that. But I am concerned about how long it's taken him to throw the ball. He's not turning the ball over. He did twice on Sunday, but overall he hasn't over the last couple of weeks. But where my concern is, when you're facing a good defense, is this going to bite him? We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, how much of it do you guys put in there? And I'll ask both of you this. I think there's a gray area maybe that, at least that's how I see it, where, the average quarterback, you probably want them to release the ball 2.7, somewhere in that range. That's the number we kind of use here on Birds 365. Then you have your play action quarterbacks that tend to be a little over 3. John mentions them all the time with, Brock Purdy. Jalen's a playmaker. Jalen is, when the play breaks down, he's known for making great plays.
He made a lot of great plays.
Yes, he did. And how much of that do you put on that, where it's like, okay, he's holding the ball a little bit longer, which is it's a problem in moments, but there's also moments that come from that you'd never have with other quarterbacks that are him making great plays down the field.
That's where the whole time to throw thing can be skewed. And I'll go back to Thursday night.
Yeah.
You guys saw the Lamar Jackson run, right?
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Guess who's number 2 in the NFL?
Yeah.
And
Lamar
Jackson.
And he's the the overwhelming favorite for MVP in the
Best
league.
player in the world. I
Yeah.
have dubbed him.
Yeah, I mean, on the play where he had 10-yard run, he had the ball for 27 seconds. So
I try to put this context every time I bring it up. Jalen's never going to be where
quick throw.
Tua leads the league and getting out the ball quickly. He's never going to be near somebody like Tua, who to be honest is too quick. To be honest, if he doesn't get his first read, he's probably going to do something dumb. So there's always a margin, but we have a large sample size with Jalen Hurts, and the reason we use 2.7, I use 2.78. I use it for a reason, because Jalen Hurts in 2021 was over 3. In 2023 is over 3. In 2024, he's at 3.11 now, last in the NFL. And when they went to the Super Bowl in 2022, he was 2.78, middle of the pack. I think there's something to that. There's something to it.
That's a good outlier there. 2022, it's the year they go to the Super Bowl. But look, I feel like a lot of people have been asking this nationally. And John, you've heard this. Zander, you've heard this. Is Jalen Hurts winning because of what's around him, or is Jalen Hurts winning because he's good? Like, really good?
Both.
Yeah, I think it's both. Yeah. Everybody likes to vacuum everything, and you're like, well, why can't it be both? Why can't the quarterback be good? Top 5 passer in the league if you're looking at the raw numbers, or why can't he be good because he has AJ Brown, because he has Devonta Smith? I'll tell you what, I bet Cooper Rush wishes he had those 2 players yesterday.
Well,
it might not have helped.
Yeah, Cooper Rush, last time he played, won 4 or 5 starts because he was playing with a good team. You saw him with a bad team.
He was playing a really good defense.
Yeah, that to me is one of the dumbest arguments. You hear it about every quarterback. Let's go, most people, I believe Lamar Jackson's the best player in football, but most people are going to say Patrick Mahomes. Well, Patrick Mahomes, and there's nothing wrong with that claim, obviously, with his history and his longevity at this point. But that ain't the same offense right now, because he doesn't have the same playmakers he's had in the past. They win a different way. And his numbers are not overwhelming, but they find ways to win. And that speaks highly to Patrick Mahomes.
The most of the stats of Patrick Mahomes, he has by far the most impressive one with his record winning streak by 10+ points in the football game. He's the only quarterback ever that's over 500. And they're like, well, it's because I'm like, it wasn't always because of the defense.
Yeah, that's
part of. I mean, that has gone from a team that was the most explosive team in the NFL to a team that you could argue now is more defensively minded than offensively minded,
and they're winning ugly as a result. But they're winning.
Exactly, because of the personnel. So it affects
everybody. Like the Chiefs though right now. Did you guys see the end of that game?
Yeah.
Leo Chanel, again, really good football player, just blew by his man, and I thought the Chiefs were going to lose their first game yesterday. I was ready to write my overreactions. All right, the Broncos are a playoff team. Book it. And nope, I had to toss that one.
Toss it out, Jeff. Save it for another column, another week.
They're still in the 7th seed in the AFC, even with the loop.
Yeah, they're playing good. I got to give it. They deserve some credit, the Broncos, and what they've been able to do with Bo Nix. I wasn't ready for that.
The AFC stinks, by the way. It's not
all of a sudden,
not deep at all. Well, the top teams are good, obviously, but
the top teams are good.
Not deep at all. The NFC is much deeper.
There's a lot of shitty football being played in the NFL this year.
There always is. People just don't want to recognize. You know why? This is why I get so upset. They're like, well, the NFL, their ratings are high, and they're this and that. It's good product. I'm like, no, it's not. You people give
terrible.
Way too much love for that shit fantasy football and that shit betting. I'm sorry.
You know what the secret to the NFL is? The 1-score games where Scott Hansen's at the end of whatever the hell that's called.
Red zone.
Red zone. Thank you. he calls it the witching hour, whatever, and you got all these games changing. Like, how many times have we been writing something, Jeff, and gets blown up by a blocked field goal at the end of the game? It's exciting to people, and they don't realize that they watched 55 minutes of direct to get to that excitement.
John, you and I watched about 60 minutes of direct yesterday.
Yeah, and when you get a game like you got yesterday, I get it. It's exciting for Eagles fans, great for Eagles fans. Boy, that was a tough watch, man, for me to watch that. That was ugly, ugly football. And the first half, both teams, ugly, ugly football.
They were so bored during that football game, they had to show Cooper DeJean basketball highlights.
Yeah, which more people should watch because for some reason, they don't think he's athletic. By the way, fastest guy on the field yesterday on his punt return.
That was more exciting than the actual football game. Watching Cooper DeJean's basketball highlights for like the 100th time.
Yeah.
He's a good player, though, man. How he did good on the draft this year. So at least it looks like it right now. Those top 2 picks are really playing good football. I mean, Jeff, I think you put out a stat this morning about Quinyon Mitchell and just how good he's been. I mean, he's playing like a top, whatever you want to call it in the league at corner. What, top 10, top 5, top 8?
I'm going to be that guy here. If Sean Desai was the Eagles defensive coordinator, those two would not be as good as they are. Not even close.
That's a given.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to give you a tough question. Understanding outside corner is far more important than slot corner. So take that out of it. Just who's better at their position, Quinyon Mitchell or Cooper DeJean?
Can I go Cooper because of the value he's brought to this team?
Cooper's been unfreaking believable.
I mean,
unfreaking believable.
I mean, there were talks before the draft, before everything played out, that hey, this Cooper DeJean kid might be the best corner in the draft, and people are like, no, there's no way. And I'm like, well, I watched him play at Iowa. I knew how good of a player he was. He was multi-factor. I thought the guy was going to be an all-pro safety when he was drafted. I thought the Eagles put him at safety. He'd be an all-pro right away. They decided to put him in the slot. I'm like, okay, yep, I'm okay with that. And look what he's done. It's John, the stat I looked up yesterday, he allowed 3 catches for 4 yards. Come on.
He's all over people, too.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, the Eagles' defense was like mediocre before he was back. They're a top 2 defense since he's here.
Yeah. And, we'll see. The schedule has been light, and we'll see as it toughens up.
Not their fault.
I don't know. It's not their fault at all. I don't project Cooper DeJean to fall apart. I don't project Quinyon Mitchell to fall apart either. They're both been great. But if I had to pick one, I got to go Cooper.
I think I'm going Mitchell.
I got to go Cooper.
I think Mitchell has harder matchups, though, right?
Well, I said
playing a slot's really tough because you're getting the team's best route runner.
Well, I mean, from the NFL's perspective, outside corner is more important than inside corner.
Yeah, but even taking that out, I mean, I'm not talking about what's more important. Obviously, outside's more important, but doesn't the matchup,
Well, that's one of the reasons why. Because
I guess that's true.
But
I guess it's all one.
Both positions, both these players have filled glaring needs in this defense from last year.
All right, guys, I got a question for both of you, and you guys can tell me. You can tell me I'm a crazy Eagle colored glasses fan here. I think the Eagles could be potentially the best team in the NFC right now, the way they've been playing.
I don't think you're too rosy colored glasses on that, Zander. I mean,
I got them right now. I got them at number 2. So
yeah, and well, that's where they're ranked in the standings right now, number 2.
Yeah.
And if you look at, I know the Lions won last night. I know I'm pretty high on the Lions here, but if you're based off Week 10, the way I saw things at Week 10, the Eagles look like a better football team. They didn't play a better football team than the Lions did, but the Eagles look like a better football team than the Lions.
The reason I said what I said, and John, I'll let you answer in a second, is I think the Eagles can beat you in more ways. Like Detroit, my problem.
That I disagree with.
That I disagree with.
Well,
too.
no, my problem with Detroit
anyway.
is if you get ahead of Detroit and you take away their run game,
They did that yesterday.
Jared Goff struggles when he's not in play action.
You mean like yesterday? They
well,
took away
literally
the
did that. They're
when
down
they were down
by double
23-13, Detroit ran the ball to get back in the game. They ran the ball with Jahmyr Gibbs all the way down the field on the drive to take the lead. I watched it.
Yeah, well, I watched the entire game as well. They did not even run the ball effectively in that game overall. It was probably their worst rushing performance of the year. D'Amico Ryans deserves a lot of credit. I was rooting for
me personally.
Full disclosure.
This is how I viewed the game yesterday. I think the Texans' game plan was, and credit to D'Amico Ryans for this, let's take away Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah,
and they did early.
Exactly. That's the one problem I have with Detroit. When you take away St. Brown, Williams hasn't gotten to the point where.
No, he hasn't.
I thought he was going to be a star. He hasn't gotten to that point.
Well,
he made a couple catches. He made a couple decent, but he hasn't been that guy. And he keeps getting in trouble. He seems like a moron. And then Sam Laporta got hurt again, so that affected them. But Gibbs averaged 3.7 yards a carry. Montgomery averaged 2.7 yards a carry. They only ran it for 105 yards in the entire game. Yeah, Jared Goff, that's what scares me. Like, when you throw 5 interceptions, you should be blown out of the building.
Quarterbacks are 3-188 since 1970. Since 2000, throwing 5 interceptions.
Wait, what was it? What was that, Jeff? What's the record?
Quarterbacks are 3-1, or that team is 3-188 when they're quarterbacks. Since 2000, when the quarterback
3-188.
I guess who has one of those wins.
And by the way, I think we all felt the same way. Detroit's going to win this game. That's scary.
Jeff, what was it? 3-188 when what? When the quarterback throws how many interceptions?
When the quarterback throws 5 interceptions in the game since 2000.
So that's happened. That's happened a lot, huh?
3-188. Tony Romo did it in 2007. And Matt Ryan.
Yeah, it can't be 188 since 2000. Really? That many?
Apparently we've had that many 5 interception games. I was kind of stunned by it too.
Is Nate Peterman half of those?
It might be. What about Carson Wentz?
I almost, holy shit. Is that right, Jeff? 188?
According to our CBS Sports Research team, and again, keep in mind it's also 8:53 in the morning. I was up till
I gotta read.
I gotta look that up.
We'll figure out.
But the stat doesn't matter. When you throw 5 interceptions, you should be blown out of the building.
Yes,
and I felt that entire time Detroit's going to freaking win this game. I don't know why I felt that way. It was really when C.J. Stroud, by the way, threw it late. He had a touchdown to, I forget the receiver, on a corner route. And Carlton Davis, I believe, raced over because he.
I'm way off, by the way. It's 3-58. Yeah, see.
That was.
That makes.
I was gonna say when you guys said that,
timeline. That was not a big.
That was way too many.
Yeah.
But either way, you should lose. And so the Carlton Davis, I guess it was a second interception. That's when I said they're going to win this game. Yeah, they can beat you every which way. That's what scares me about that team. Jared Goff was player of the month. Yeah, it's Jared Goff. No, again, when we talk about supporting cast, you've seen Jared Goff with bad supporting cast. He's not going to be Lamar Jackson. Nobody's saying that. But when that team can beat you running the football, throwing the football. They can beat you defensively. They completely shut down Houston in the second half.
They have the best
McNeil
in the NFL.
I always say Tom Donahue's sitting there somewhere. Nothing against Milton Williams, but that guy's turned into a monster. DJ Reader. They had Aiden Hutchinson. I wouldn't even consider anybody else if he didn't get hurt. That's the only reason
Aiden Hutchinson is still third in the NFL in sacks. He hasn't played in weeks.
I literally wouldn't even consider any other team if he didn't get hurt. That the only reason I do is because people are involved. Brian Branch is a hell of a player. Terrion Arnold, by the way, should have got that. That was a PI.
That was a major PI.
They screwed Houston. But he's a good.
By the way, I don't think the guy was going to catch it anyway. But it was still a major PI.
Can we question D'Amico Ryans here for kicking that field goal? I thought he should have went for it.
The guys
I
made
know.
11 50-yard field goals.
Okay, but the Lions are still going to get the ball back.
Well, yeah, but I mean, at that point, what are you going to do? It was fourth and quite a bit, wasn't it?
But again, this is where it goes back to the penalty too.
I think it was 4th and 4.
It was 4th and 4.
4th and 4.
I didn't like the sequence.
I mean, if it wasn't
run, throw. I hate 2 runs in the pass. I hate it.
4th and 4, you can debate it, I guess, but the guys made 11 50-yard field. And by the way, it was a bad snap. Again, everything comes down to execution.
Yeah,
I guarantee he banks that through.
Well, no, I thought he was going to make it, and then I saw the play. I'm like, okay, bad snap. I didn't like the decision beforehand, though. That's just me.
And then Bates kicks 250, just barely inside both times.
Yeah,
that guy was what? What was he? A brick? What was he like?
He was a bricklayer or something.
Yeah,
then
something like that.
He was in the UFL making record field goals.
Did you hear what he told his? I guess I don't know if she's his wife yet. It might be his fiance, but like he told her he was giving up football, and like 3 weeks later he got a call from like a UFL team.
These guys. The other kid from the XFL, it was 4 for 4.
Yeah.
Parker Romo. Yeah. He was the all XFL kicker in their last year. So Will Reichard, Zander's favorite kicker from Alabama, he got hurt, and they bring in Parker Romo, who makes 4 for 4. He's going to be the NFC. Watch, they always do that. Remember when Cameron Dicker came in and won a game for the Eagles, and he won NFC Special Teams Player of the Week? I guarantee you, Parker Romo.
That's my running joke about Cameron Dicker. I'm like, there was a week.
Dicker the kicker.
Yeah. There was a week in the NFL where the Eagles might have had 2 of the best kickers in 2024 on their football team.
Yeah, he's a damn good kicker. He's turned out to be obviously a very good kicker. So, yeah. The Eagles.
That's a long way to tell me that neither of you guys think that the Eagles are better than the Lions.
No.
Yet. I think they're getting close.
Not yet, but it's getting close. No, I agree with you there. It's a lot closer than what I would have said going into yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew Brandt put out a tweet yesterday that was just classic. He's like, I think everybody thinks the Eagles are Super Bowl contenders except for the Eagles fans.
Well, that's it. I do think the Eagles are a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah.
But
right now, I mean, you're asking me right now, who do I think is better? I think Detroit's better, but they're number 2. I mean,
if we had to rank 5 teams,
good.
If we had to pick 5 right now that are Super Bowl contenders, the Eagles are on that list.
Yeah. I can't even.
Who is that list? Would it be Detroit, Philly, or from the NFC? I think those are the
Detroit,
clear 2.
The Eagles, the Ravens, the Bills, the Chiefs. Those would be the 5 I would go with.
I would go 4. I'm cutting the Bills. I don't believe in the Bills. I know they're playing well.
We're gonna find out how good they are Sunday.
I know they're playing well. I'm not saying they're a bad team by any stretch. I just don't believe in them as a true Super Bowl contender. I just think they're too weak at wide receiver. Mac Hollins just making plays again. God bless him, but come on.
Right.
I mean,
I'll give him credit though for what was supposed to be a down year, a rebuilding year.
Oh, well, part of it is let's be honest, it's the AFC East as well. I mean, that's.
Hey, anybody else enjoy that John McGinn butt whooping on Aaron Rodgers yesterday?
No, Eagles
I didn't see it at all.
They don't like JG. But
JG's coach of the year.
Good job, man. He's doing a good job.
By the way, John, I had to go on a tirade before I got on here. Your boy Dan Orlovsky saying Mike Tomlin's coach of the year, and there's no man like it. I guess you don't watch the Cardinals.
Well, Mike's up there, but Mike's always
got to be up there too. No,
well, he is.
That's one of those things where, Andy Reid never wins coach of the year because everybody expects him to win. Bill Belichick all those years.
What about Nick Sirianni for coach of the year?
Oh, come on. That's the worst coach in football.
Yeah. Eagles fans hate their own head coach who's 41-19. Eagles fans hate winning.
41-19, and people talk about firing this guy after every loss.
It's Nick Sirianni's fault. It's
Nick
all his fault.
Sirianni, baby.
41.
I saw a stat yesterday. He's climbing the leaderboard on win percentage. I'm like, that could change at any moment, but
it's going to be pretty good for a while.
There's only 2 head coaches that have a better win percentage than Nick Sirianni since he's entered the league. You guys know who they are?
Matt LaFleur.
No.
So I thought he was second to Matt.
No, because
winning
Matt had
percent.
no, since he entered the league or 2020, it might be 22.
Since 2021. Since
So I'm doing
2021, Sirianni's second to Matt LaFleur.
yeah. Then that one's LaFleur, but 22. Oh yeah, like I said, I'm getting my years mixed up here. 22, it's Reed and McDermott.
Yeah, pretty good company, but he sucks.
He sucks. Sean McDermott sucks. I think the only coach that gets like universally praised these days is Andy Reid.
Well, he deserves it. Well, I think it's a fair question that people ask. I mean, Jeff, you asked it a little bit earlier about Jalen Hurts. You know, a lot of people look at the roster. They look at the Philadelphia Eagles and everything that Howie's done.
But they never want to blame the players when they lose.
Nope, I know, John. I'm just saying the point is out there that, is Nick winning because he's a great coach, or is Nick winning because he's got the best roster, or one of the best rosters in football? I think that's out there. I'm not saying I subscribe to it.
Oh, it is out there. I'm not denying it's out there. I'm just saying it's stupid. You can't win.
They play for him. You think the Cowboys are playing for Super Bowl champion head coach Mike McCarthy right now? I don't. And they stink.
You've already seen it with coaches who have been around for a very long time because football is cyclical. Andy Reid has had bad seasons, not many, but he's had bad seasons.
2012 was his last bad season.
Bill Belichick has had bad seasons. Everybody, you can't win without talent. If you have 5 win talent, a good coach is going to get you maybe 7 or 8. That's coaching. You make them a little bit better. Or bad coaching is you make them a little bit
or
worse.
You change the entire philosophy of your football team, like Jim Harbaugh. Sorry.
I mean, people put way too much on the coaches as far as being able to make chicken shit out of chicken salad, or vice versa. Whatever I'm trying. You get what I'm trying.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Keith Johnson in the chat brings up, I heard Micah Parsons after the game. He's like, he's ready to get Mike McCarthy out of there now. He's like done with Mike McCarthy. That was
my favorite thing with Eagles fans right now. Again, this is one of the reasons why I do enjoy Eagles fans. Everything Micah Parsons says, they're like, boy, does this guy want to be an Eagle in the worst way. It is funny.
It is funny.
And by the way, but they all, so many times Zander tells me he's not a good player.
I didn't have John. That is ridiculous of you to say. I have never said that. I have never uttered those words. I said not generational.
So many Eagles fans. I'm just picking on you. I get it from all you. Oh, you overrate him. You'd love him the minute he stepped into town.
Yeah,
you would go
just like a certain other Penn State football player that now plays.
And by the way, and I think Jeff is going to be honest here. Jeff is Mr. Penn State. The best Penn State alumni in the NFL is Micah Parsons.
Yes. Generational.
Yeah. And by the way, to the Mike McCarthy point, if you think Mike McCarthy is a bad coach, that's fine. He won 36 games over the past 3 years.
Yeah. With a lot of talent. Yeah, good coach, good talent, but now he doesn't have that.
Hey, don't blame me for that one. John, did you see those comments after the game? They were kind of scathing.
They were awesome.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, that's what happens when you lose. I mean, the whole thing goes off the rails. It happens everywhere.
Your coach.
I'm telling you, the best thing about the Dallas Cowboys is the stuff that comes after the game. You got a bunch of reporters, Jerry Jones's sheep, and they're just like, Jerry, tell us about your football team.
I know, man.
I always tell John Machota, a friend of the show, covers the Cowboys.
John's a good dude.
He's so lucky, man, to have Jerry Jones talking after every game. As
Can you imagine Jeffrey Lurie talking after every game?
Oh, I'd love it, but it's not going to. Well, actually, I might not love it with Jeffrey because Jeffrey's talks are 45 minutes soliloquies before he opens up to a question.
He's not as entertaining as Jerry is.
Not quite as entertaining.
Jerry is definitely the 81-year-old man that tells you to get off his lawn.
Yeah, he is funny to listen to. We got a couple Cowboys fans in the chat. William Burney says, "We are a complete mess." That's what William Burney
are. John, did you hear my joke about the curtains thing yesterday?
No, I
So,
I
so
love
the
the
whole
curtain
like,
talk.
so the whole CD Lamb curtains thing. I'm like, the only curtains Jerry's putting on is the Cowboys season.
Yeah,
But
true.
that would be the biggest get ever for the curtain company. Curtains for AT&T Stadium. That's one big curtain, man.
I just love when he went on this rant. What should I do? Build a new stadium? I'm like,
If I'm a curtain company in Dallas right now, you got to be ringing the
Oh,
Dallas
man.
PR
yeah,
department.
That
you
is
know, yeah.
that is the biggest get anywhere. Could you
Yeah.
imagine the
Free
curtain rod
curtains,
would
the whole
be?
9
Yeah,
yards. Yep.
yeah.
we can look up when the sun is placed for 14 years ahead of time. Okay, Jerry. Well, yeah, obviously your architectural team did not.
That's awesome. But Jerry's actually right in that essence. They won a lot of games there. They don't lose because of the sun.
But they are the first team since 1956 to have a 20-point deficit in 5 straight home games. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. They were so good at home, and then they got destroyed by Green Bay in the playoffs. They haven't won since at home.
They won 17 straight, I think, before that. Something like that. It was a lot.
So he was saying the world knows where the sun is. You get to know that almost a year in advance. Someone asked me about the sun. What about the sun? Where's the moon? Jerry's having an existential crisis.
Jerry's crashing out. Jeff, last couple comments here on the Eagles. The defense is playing really good. I know you haven't had the greatest opponents, but boy, I mean, they have been a really good defense. Zach Bond stepping up in a big way. How much you buying into the Eagles defense right now?
I mean, I've been buying stock in that defense for a couple weeks, so I don't care who.
I buy stock in Vic Fangio.
Yeah. I buy stock in him. That's the guy I want. And look, we could say they haven't played these quality caliber opponents, but then I'll fire back with, well, Joe Burrow and the Bengals offense are having a really good year, and they held them to 17.
Yeah,
on the road.
They lit up Baltimore, but you know how that works.
Well, Baltimore's pass defense is going to cost them a Super Bowl championship.
Yeah, they haven't been great, which is weird because they have so many good players in the secondary. It's
you know
weird.
what the secret to beating good organizations is, John? I think you know the answer to this.
I don't know where you're going.
Take their coaches.
Oh, that.
I mean, Eagles fans know that all too well after watching last year.
Yeah, I mean when you turn it over, but again, Baltimore's a scary team. That game, December, what is it? December 1st in Baltimore. Yeah. Jeff's driving down there. I've already told him because he's the only one who can find the damn.
Apparently, I'm the only one of the Eagles beat writers that actually knows how to get to the parking lot in the city.
It is unbelievable. There's no signs in that city. It is abysmal.
I told John I missed the exit, and he's like, and I still knew how to get there. And John's just like, all right, that's it.
It is abysmal. The city of Baltimore, you're a disgrace. Put up a sign.
No, it's like a big. It's like what is it? At the beginning of Futurama, where there's like a bunch of signs. That's how you get to M&T Bank Stadium.
Jeff knows his way around. Good stuff. Jeff, thanks for joining today, man. Any final thoughts before you go on the Eagles absolutely destroying the Dallas Cowboys in Jerry's world? First time since 2017, and Saquon's first win against the Cowboys.
I can't believe I just went 45 minutes without saying this, but the Eagles may have won the NFC East this week.
Well, still got 2 games, man.
Well, I know, but I thought Washington needed to beat Pittsburgh yesterday because now there's a ton of pressure on Washington to win on Thursday night.
Yeah, and they drop Thursday night. That's 2 straight. That they're all of a sudden.
Oh, I expect the Eagles to win, and I think they're better than Washington. But yeah, you always put the
Eagles. I will say this though: the Eagles got a way tougher schedule down the stretch than Washington does. If you see those teams Washington plays, you're going to say, okay, this team's going to win 11 games.
Yeah, and Jaden Daniels can beat anybody with a hokey play, man.
I mean, they do have a win where the Bears haven't scored an offensive touchdown since the Hail Mary.
Yeah, Hail Mary.
I saw Orlovsky do a break. Orlovsky's, I guess he's off Nick Sirianni because they're winning every game now. So
trust me, he'll be on Nick Sirianni Friday morning.
He's taking a shot at the Bears now, and they're offensive structure, which he's probably right about that one. But
so this is our week 11 slate, by the way. For those of you who are underwhelmed with week 10, and I was, we got Eagles-Commanders Thursday, we got Chiefs-Bills Sunday, and we got Steelers-Ravens Sunday.
And by the way, Thursday night's football. Come on,
let's get rid of it. Let's get rid of it.
Stop it.
It's not guys. There's networks paying hundreds of millions of dollars.
I don't care.
And air them somewhere else.
You got the biggest game of the year in the NFC East to this point.
Flex it out.
And nobody's going to prepare for the fucking game because they don't have time to prepare for the fucking game. And they're just going to roll out the footballs.
John, I had John cracking up last year when I left for the stadium for Thursday Night Football. It was week 2 against the it was the Vikings, right? I can't remember.
It was the Vikings week 2 last year.
So I left at 1 and didn't get there till 5. And literally the first thing I said was, I effing hate Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
You have to deal with these. You have to deal with people who actually work 9 to 5 jobs when you're driving to Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, Barb points out in the chat, though, I will say Amazon does I know you guys don't care because you guys are at the game, but
Amazon does do a good job. I'm not going to.
All of a sudden, I mean, they didn't start too good, but now they're like they have maybe some of the best camera work in the NFL at this point.
A lot of people criticize Al Michaels, though. However, 150 years old.
I will say this: I think the presentation's amazing. I think the 4K is actually 4K. It's great as someone who watches it every week. Kelly Hartung gives the best stories of any of the sideline reporters.
I don't even know who that is.
She's the sideline reporter.
Yeah, she's good.
I mean, Kerr Curbs. I love Kerr Curbstreet. I do not like him. The NFL.
I think he's doing a good job, though. Jeff.
No, he's doing a good job.
I mean, it's a tough job to be able to have your pulse on both the NFL and college and know everything that he does.
It's a quick turnaround for him. Yeah. Like I really do feel though they got to find a long-term. Obviously, they do. They got to find a long-term replacement for Al Michaels.
I like Myra Gomez. I like her. I don't know if she still does. She used to do Thursday.
She still does that. She still does, I think.
The Spanish feed. I met her at the Super Bowl. Nice girl.
Did you ever see, John, did you ever watch their alternate TNF broadcast? NFL Network usually shows them on Fridays.
I have not.
It's like an all 22 view for those all 22 people, and it's like a real time.
Oh, I like that.
It's really cool. Yeah. And it's like, and you got Michaels and Herbstreit. Like, it's just like the same broadcast. It's just a different way to watch the game.
Yeah. Good stuff. Jeff, we got to run, man. We got Chris Franklin coming up. Great to talk to you on this Monday. Appreciate you doing it, my friend. We'll talk to you next week. All right, man.
Yeah, sounds good. Maybe even Friday.
Oh yeah, maybe even Friday.
Yeah, we got a double. Now I'm booking you if you want to get up that early. That's brutal.
There's nothing like a post game day with Jeff Kerr on Birds 365.
I assume I'm going to be by myself after night games at 8:20 in the morning.
Yeah, I don't blame you on that.
So by the way, one more TNF story from that TNF game last year. There was a big accident on 76 when I was going home, and I swear, like, you know, I feel like I'm going to be sitting in traffic at like 3 a.m. for like 10 hours because, you know, it's 76. It's a gridlock. I literally have a cop come up to me, knock on my door and say, we're on Spring Garden Street. He goes, go up the off-ramp. You'll get out of here. And he literally told 3 cars that, and we left, and everybody just followed us. We're like, oh my God, thank you. Like, it literally was something I thought I was going to sit in for 4 hours, which ended up being 4 hours. I sat in for 10 minutes.
All right. Philly's finest. All right.
Yeah, Philly's finest. Like I said, I don't say too many bad things about Philly cops. That's one of the reasons.
Yeah, they got a tough gig, too.
Yeah, they do. No doubt about it. Jeff, thanks for joining, man. We'll talk to you soon. All right, brother?
Yep, sounds great. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jeff.
Great stuff from Jeff Kerr there. John, coming up, we'll get to our commercial break. We got Chris Franklin joining in a little bit. I got a few super chats I want to read. I want to thank everybody for being here. Got a big crowd in here this morning. Hit that like button, everybody. 150 we're up to. So Johnny Mack, you know,
Negadelphia,
looking for the Negadelphia crowd. Well, they're in here. Can we get some likes to shut Johnny Mack up? John, I got a stat for you here before we get to our break, and we'll get to 2 super chats, I think, as well. We got a couple of them I'll read. And this is from Ed Kratz's Twitter. Eagles, and you put it out, I'm sure, too, with the snap counts. Jalix Hunt played 25 snaps, 12 for Bryce Huff. What do you make of it?
Well, I think the more important stat is the first half snaps because of what went on in the second half. They're always a little bit gamey because of you know, the blowout garbage time affecting things. So here's the first half snap counts. Josh Sweat 21, Brandon Graham 15, Jalix Hunt 13, Nolan Smith 11, Bryce Huff 6. So what that tells me is Vic is looking for somebody to seize a bigger role, and Jalix is getting an opportunity. And we'll see what he does with it. But if there's one thing he's clearly not happy with on the defense, it's the edge rushers after Josh Sweat and Brandon Graham. And that still includes Nolan Smith. But it's a little bit impacted Bryce Huff specifically, and he got a sack. So hopefully that sparks something in him. A little bit affected by the injury, but it's pretty clear that Vic is just not enamored with him as a player.
I mean, it's a major indictment on Bryce Huff. This is now a trend that's going on for 3 or 4 weeks where it's just like he doesn't like him, John.
It seems that way.
I don't even think it's a seam thing anymore. I think it is that way. Until proven otherwise, it is that way. He doesn't play the guy, and he's looking for a guy. He's rotating Jalix Hunt in there for 13 first half snaps.
Yeah, he's looking. And if Jalix starts to show up, he'll play more because they need an impactful, really third and fourth man. I think everybody have kind of said, well, Nolan's fine. Is he? I don't know. I mean, if sacks are the be-all, end-all, he's gotten a couple sacks, but it's more than that. And right now, there are only 2 edge rushers that they can count on are Josh Sweat and Brandon Graham, and Brandon's 36. So that's an under sort of reported concern, I would think. Maybe the biggest concern for the Eagles as a whole, to be honest, because everybody else is pretty much carrying their water, I would say.
Yeah, agreed. We'll see what happens there. Prince Swayze checks in with a super chat. Let's get to our super chats now. Got 3 of them, and then we'll get to Chris Franklin. Prince says, I love how everyone forgot Q is also playing the slot. He can play both. Stop putting them against each other. I don't think we're putting them against each other.
Putting against each other. He played the slot in training camp. He didn't play the slot in regular season. Stop it. Stop it.
Yes, stop it.
The whole team, the whole time I was telling you he's going to be outside. He's going to be, that's another one. Start with the apology and then start with your complaining. Okay. Well, Isaiah's getting first team reps. How many times did I say Quignon's going to be there? Quignon's going to be there.
Prince, you were shut down by McMullen this morning. Yeah. Good stuff, Johnny Mac. Rashid Mixon checks in, a member chat. Rashid, thanks for being a member, brother. He says, good morning. After 9 weeks of football and seeing what we have on offense and defense, do you believe we are the most complete team in football? Any holes? I'd say we're close, Rashid. Johnny Mac, what say you?
I just talked about one of them. They're a very good team. Every team has holes. Every team. I just talked about one of them at edge rusher. There's some other ones like the quarterback holding on to the football. They're not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. They played very well. Like I said, a lot of teams, and it's happened to the Eagles in the past, where they should have had an easier go of it. And they haven't, but they're playing very well. But yeah, they have some holes. They're not perfect, and they continue to improve, especially defensively. Offensively, I think everybody knows they have a good offense. Ironically, the defense has been even better, which I think nobody expected. And the one thing, I meant to mention this with Jeff. They haven't lost with AJ.
I know. He tweeted that out this morning, Jeff.
Did he?
Yeah,
they haven't lost with AJ Brown. Keep that in mind. because they don't play well when he's not out there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I got some defensive stats that just came out as well that are pretty impressive. Man in Black comes in. Appreciate it, man. $5. Appreciate your support. He says CJ GJ is starting to be a zone ball hawk. I've been saying for weeks he's getting active in the backfield. CJ Gardner-Johnson is unlocked. I said it here first. I don't know about that, but
we had a good game yesterday,
Yeah,
but
he
he
did.
hasn't, he hadn't played well. That by far is his best game.
Looked good against Cooper Rush.
Yeah, he had not played well for most of the season, I would say. See if PFF had it. I would say he'd be close. I don't know. It's kind of early. They might not have their grades up. Oh, they have their preliminary grades up. The best offensive player, shocker, A.J. Brown. These are the guys with getting meaningful snaps. Like Johnny Wilson was actually number one, but he only played 18 snaps. By the way, nice job by Johnny Wilson getting his first touchdown.
Yeah, baby, a little Johnny Wilson showing. That might have been the first time they called his name that wasn't for a penalty.
Yeah, he was not. Yeah, he did get a penalty in the game.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Well, it was on the kickoff.
Right? Yeah, it was on the kickoff. He got caught. Lane number 2, shocker. Jalen number 3. Saquon number 4. Jahan Dotson number 5. Not great grades on offense. I got a feeling the grades are going to be better on defense. And they are, magically. Guess who number 1 is? Limited snaps.
Not Zach Bond, I guess. He wasn't limited snaps. Who? Jordan Davis?
Bryce Huff.
Oh, God.
It's 12 snaps. And 12, which is meaningless. But to his point, hey, right where I had it. CJ Gardner-Johnson, number 1. Zach Bond, number 2. Zach Bond for the 3rd consecutive week in the blue. That means blue chip plus 90. 3rd consecutive week. Nolan Smith played well in limited reps, according to them. Isaiah Rodgers, good grade. Jordan Davis, limited reps, good grade. Oren Burks, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Jalen Carter, Jalix Hunt. There's Jalix. Everybody played well.
No holes defense, baby. The no holes defense.
Is that the Cooper Rush effect? Except Thomas Booker. Oh, my guy, Thomas Booker. Love Thomas Booker. Such a smart guy. He only played 7 reps, though, so it really doesn't matter. You can't get a feel. Yeah. Defensive shutdown performance against Cooper Rush.
Prince didn't like your clap back to him. He said, Zander, I said he can play the slot.
All right. Yeah. Then here comes the move around, the big goalpost changing.
Yeah.
He hasn't played a damn snap in the slot in the regular season.
Prince, I hate to say it to you, brother, but you took an L on this Monday morning, my friend. Appreciate you being here, but Johnny Mack sent you out the pasture. Let's get to our commercial break. We got to get to Chris Franklin coming up next. Looking forward to talking to Chris. Before I do that, let me tell you guys about the great people at BetUS. Go check them out, betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa, and use the promo code, which you see on your screen right now, YouTube 150. It gives you a 150% sign-up bonus on your very first deposit and 125% on your second and third deposit, all up to $2,000. So go check out BetUS today. They have the fastest pads in the industry, 24/7 customer support, and we appreciate them for sponsoring the 2-hour edition of Birds 365 today. We'll be back in 3 minutes with Chris Franklin on the other side.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.